On Christmas Eve, when the city glowed with golden lights and laughter spilled from warm homes, Maria stood behind the counter of a small, nearly empty grocery store, her fingers cracked from the cold and her heart heavier than the bags she carried every night, because while the world celebrated miracles, she was just trying to survive another shift before midnight. Her daughter Lily, barely 3 years old, waited alone in their tiny apartment with a flickering heater and a paper Christmas tree taped to the wall, and every beep of the cash register reminded Maria that she was missing another bedtime story, another chance to make her child feel safe. Yet she smiled politely at customers, swallowing the ache in her chest, because poverty had taught her one brutal lesson: you don't cry when you need the job. Maria had lost her husband 2 winters ago in a factory accident, and since then life had become a relentless test of endurance, days blending into nights of exhaustion, bills piling up faster than hope, and Christmas, once her favorite holiday, had turned into a painful reminder of everything she could no longer give her child, especially this year, when her paycheck wouldn't even cover rent, forcing her to work extra hours on Christmas Eve while Lily stayed home with a neighbor who could only watch her until midnight. As snow fell gently outside, Maria folded paper bags, her thoughts drifting to Lily's wide eyes when she'd asked that morning, "Mama, will Santa find us?" And Maria had hugged her tightly, whispering promises she wasn't sure she could keep. Just before closing time, when the store was quiet and the lights dimmed, a man walked in, tall, calm, dressed simply but with an air of quiet authority, his presence somehow shifting the room's energy, and Maria greeted him without looking up, unaware that this was Daniel Cross, a billionaire known across the country, a man who owned skyscrapers yet walked into small stores like this one unnoticed. Especially tonight, when he wasn't seeking attention but silence, Daniel wandered the aisles slowly, watching Maria as she worked, noticing the way her smile faded the moment she thought no one was watching, the way she checked her phone anxiously, and when he finally reached the counter with only a loaf of bread and milk, he asked gently, "Long night?" And Maria hesitated before answering, "Long life," surprising even herself, and something in her voice, not bitterness, but quiet strength, struck Daniel deeply, because he too had once known loss, having grown up poor before success found him, losing his mother on a winter night much like this one. He paid for his items but didn't leave, instead asking, "Do you have family waiting for you?" And Maria swallowed hard before nodding, "My daughter." And when he asked her name, Maria said, "Lily," and Daniel froze for a fraction of a second, because that had been his mother's name too. The silence between them grew heavy, and finally, Maria apologized, explaining she needed to lock up soon, but Daniel surprised her by saying softly, "You should go home, it's Christmas Eve," and she laughed sadly, explaining she couldn't afford to lose the overtime, that Christmas didn't stop rent from being due, and Daniel saw something that money couldn't buy, dignity in struggle. He asked where she lived, and though hesitant, Maria answered vaguely, not expecting anything, because life had taught her not to hope for miracles. Yet Daniel insisted on walking her out as snow thickened, and when they reached her bus stop, he offered her a ride, and something about his kindness, not loud or flashy, made her say yes. The drive was quiet, the city glowing through frosted windows, and when they arrived at her apartment building, Daniel's heart sank, because he recognized the place, an old building he'd once bought years ago and forgotten, a building scheduled for demolition after the holidays. Maria thanked him and stepped out, but Daniel called after her, asking if Lily was awake, and when Maria said yes, alone and waiting, he made a decision that would change everything. Inside the small apartment, Lily sat wrapped in a blanket, eyes lighting up when she saw her mother, but dimming again when she saw the empty space where presents should be, and Maria felt her heart break all over again. Yet before she could speak, Daniel stepped inside, knelt to Lily's level, and asked if she believed in Christmas miracles, and Lily nodded shyly. What happened next felt unreal. Daniel revealed who he was, not with pride, but with humility, explaining that he had more money than he could ever spend, but what he lacked was purpose, and tonight, seeing Maria's strength and Lily's innocence, reminded him of what truly mattered. He didn't hand over cash like a savior in a storybook. Instead he offered something far bigger. He canceled the demolition of the building, cleared the debts of every tenant, paid Maria's rent for a year, and offered her a better job at one of his companies, flexible hours, childcare support, and dignity, not charity. Maria collapsed into tears, not because of money, but because for the first time since her husband's death, someone had seen her struggle and respected it. Christmas morning arrived differently that year, with Lily waking up to real gifts and Maria waking up without fear, and as weeks turned into months, Maria rebuilt her life, not forgetting where she came from, using her new stability to help others in the building, while Daniel found something he'd lost long ago, peace. This wasn't just a story about money changing lives, but about compassion choosing to show up when it mattered most, because sometimes the greatest miracle isn't wealth, it's being seen. And if this story touched your heart, if you believe kindness can still change the world, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because stories like this remind us that hope is real, miracles are possible. And one act of humanity can change everything.